Hi everybody, Mr. Nolan here, and today we will be looking back at John Steinbeck's The Pearl and understanding what literary techniques he used throughout his book to make it so engaging. Once we're able to understand what he did throughout those about 90 pages of our short little novel that we read, we're going to be able to construct an extension to that novel. You're going to write pages 91 and 92. Let's practice a little bit in terms of what we mean by the term literary techniques. I'm going to show you a poem in a minute, and you are going to annotate it. So at this time, if you need to get a notebook and a pen or pencil, please do so. Okay. Hopefully we have that notebook and pen or paper. So when we go through this poem, we will be able to look at it and make a note of what lines we see certain literary techniques being used. If you're unsure about some of the literary techniques and what they might actually mean, this would be a great time to pause the video and go get our handout sheet that defines all of these terms. Some wonderful terms like theme, characterization, simile, metaphor, that one. If we can find that sheet now, if you need to pause the video here, please pause now. Okay, now we're back. We're going to hear a poem that I wrote about one of my pals at Grand Avenue, Mr. Fox. Some of you guys have Mr. Fox as a social studies teacher. Hopefully, you are well aware that Mr. Fox and I are good friends, and I consistently make fun of him for his age. Now, on to our poem. Again, your job, when I'm reading this poem and you see it on your screen, I want you to annotate. When you see a literary technique being used, I want you to write the line number and write the term that's being used. We should be able to find at least 3 of them. There's definitely more, but we can definitely find 3. Here's my little poem. Fabulous Frank Fox, a teacher of history. How he knows all the facts shouldn't be a mystery. Sure, Fox is wise and Fox is great, but the real crazy fact is he's 308. Of course Fox knows all about the Bill of Rights. It was written in front of him, right in plain sight. He fought at Gettysburg, he freed all the slaves. He was there to make sure all the workers got paid. He's met most presidents, he's truly seen it all. He was on the front line to see the Confederates fall. Of course Fox is the best teacher of social studies, because he and George Washington were good buddies. Now, we have the whole poem on our screen right now. If you need to pause for a minute, which you more than likely do, let's pause for a minute or so. Go through, see what you can find. I see at least 3. I hope you can too. So let's pause and look for them. All right, let's go through this poem line by line, please. Now, we start off with line 1. Fabulous Frank Fox. Ooh, tough for me to say, because it's alliteration. I am repeating the initial consonant sound in Fabulous Frank Fox. So we have alliteration in line 1. Now we go on to line 1 and 2. How he knows all the facts shouldn't be a mystery. Line 3. Fox is wise and Fox is great. Wow, these sound like traits. I'm calling him wise and great. Definitely have some characterization here. Hopefully we found that one. Now we get into the joke of his age. He's not 308. That's impossible, even for Mr. Fox. I am really exaggerating his age. Hyperbole. I am exaggerating something. We then get into things like the Bill of Rights, Gettysburg. Start to create images in our mind. We can see these places. This is definitely imagery. It's using the 5 senses. Remember, not just what you can see, what you can taste. Well, hopefully we're not tasting the Bill of Rights. I think security would have a problem with that. Taste, smell, hear, touch, or feel. Okay? When we look at the overall message of this, well, what's the message to Mr. Nolan's silly poem about Mr. Fox? Well, first of all, if we have a message, we're definitely talking about theme. And what's the theme here? I would say that with age comes wisdom. Yes, Mr. Fox is old, but he's also very smart. And a lot of his intelligence has to do with his life experiences. Comically discussed in this poem, but in real life as well. Mr. Fox is a very smart guy who knows his stuff, partly because he's experienced some of these things. So that would be my theme. So far in this poem, we have found alliteration, we have found theme, we have found imagery, and we have found hyperbole. Are these the only 4 there? No. And if you found another one, I'd love to hear it. But here we have an example of us looking at a poem and annotating it, finding some literary techniques within this short 14-line poem. How does this relate to John Steinbeck's The Pearl and our upcoming assignment? Thank you for asking. For the upcoming assignment, you are going to be required to somewhat mimic the writing style of John Steinbeck. In order to do that, we need to find out what literary techniques he used significantly throughout his novel. So what I need you to do is, 1, have your copy of The Pearl handy, which I'm sure all of us do because we never are without it. I want you to do just what we did for this poem, but for the novel. I want you to find 3 examples of literary elements, literary techniques that Steinbeck uses in his book. Where do you find them? Find some random page. If you want to turn to a random page and find 3 on that one page, perfect. If you want to find 3 on 3 different random pages, that's great. What I need you to come to class with tomorrow is 3 page numbers and 3 examples of 3 different literary techniques. I don't want to hear 3 examples of imagery or 3 examples of characterization. I want to find 3 different ones. Because what we're going to find tomorrow is that all of us found different pages and examples, but we're going to see which ones dominate and are in this novel repeatedly. So when we get to write it like Steinbeck's, we know what Steinbeck wrote like. All right? That's your assignment. I'll see you tomorrow.